Kay Hansen taking on Corey McKenna. Kay Hansen minus 220 favorite. McKenna plus 180. Super young fighters here. Kay Hansen's 21 and so
McKenna's
is
21.
Corey McKenna. McKenna took on that Demopolis or something on the Contender
Yeah.
Series. Like, she was able to take her down, control her, but Demopolis did not seem to have much takedown defense, and her grappling was really not on point. Kay Hansen, on the other hand, this is arguably a step down in competition, taking on Jinyu Frey, a very experienced fighter, in her last time out. And, she got banged up a little bit. She had the, big cut above her head, and it was looking a little dicey, but her grappling looks pretty solid, especially at this stage in her career. She's obviously going to be making improvements fight to fight. I like her to get the job done here. Minus 220 seems a little bit rich for a 21-year-old strawweight. But I did quite enjoy like the smile that she gave the camera as she was bleeding all over as she had just won. But born fighter, I think we've got here. So yeah, haven't bet anything on it either. But Kay Hansen minus 220. I think she's just a little bit further along in their development. What's your take here?
Yeah, so I'm going to go the other way on this one and go Corey McKenna. I know that she's a pretty considerable dog price, and that obviously helps in terms of making the pick. Listen, they're both in a similar position where they're both 21 years old. They're both young. They're both green. They're both developing. So you can't go wrong taking either side of this. Like, they're both there to make mistakes. They both do make mistakes. It's just kind of, which game plan is going to work. With Kay Hansen, here's the thing with Kay Hansen, right? So as much as her grappling is good, it's not as good as Vanessa Demopoulos. It's not, fact. Vanessa can't wrestle for absolute shit. I give her that. Kay Hansen's a much better wrestler. She ends up on top of McKenna. That would be a lot more interesting. But as far as her submitting her off her back, like, I'm not seeing it happening. What I go back to is that, like, she's had a lot of struggles in her MMA career that have been grappling related. She's also 1-4 as a pro boxer. So I know, shout out to my boy Gabe Killian. He says she's a good striker. Like, I don't see it, man. 1-4 as a pro boxer, was not a good boxer. As far as her MMA career goes, she doesn't throw a whole lot, right? Like, her hands are decent. I thought she looked decent against Jinyu Frey. Her striking looked better than it ever has. And again, 21, she's getting better fight to fight. But she was soundly getting outstruck by Jinyu Frey. She lost the first round, getting outstruck. The second round, she was eventually able to get the fight to the ground. That's where you see her shine. And in the third round, she's getting outstruck up until she throws up a flying armbar and is able to submit her with the flying armbar. She went 2 for 11 on takedowns in that fight. The thing is that the flying armbar counted as one of the 2 takedowns.
Mm-hmm.
So beyond that, she was really struggling to get Jinyu Frey down. Now, Jinyu Frey gets taken down by everybody. Jinyu Frey's a 105-pound fighter that just really does not deal well against physicality and bigger grapplers. Whereas she had good spots against Kay Hansen where she's able to keep her up. As far as the striking goes, you see Kay Hansen, she's not in her element. Well, let's look at all of her pro losses. The Kay Schwartz fight, she takes her down, ground and pounds her out. The doctor stops it. Okay, the grappling let her out. No problem. She fights Erin Blanchfield. That fight's 2 years ago, Paul. Not that long ago, 2 years ago. She's 19, but don't you know it? Erin Blanchfield is 19 as well. She gets taken down in the first 2 rounds. She loses the fight based on the grappling to Erin Blanchfield. Then she took a pro boxing match, which she lost. Then she took on that Magdalena Surmova. Now, Surmova's 30 years old. So it's tough for a 20-year-old fighter to be taking on a 30-year-old fighter. Like, I'm going to give her a pass in that fight. But why does she lose the split decision? Because she gets taken down by the older, stronger, more veteran-type fighter. The grappling's been screwing her over. Now, the last 3 MMA wins, they're not grapplers. So she's been able to employ her grappling or at least use her striking in spots. Like, listen, she's getting better. She's developing. I like her. I like her a lot. I would probably bet her against a lot of these younger fighters in the division. But they happen to give her Corey McKenna, which I got a problem with. Because Corey McKenna's got a lot of good going for her. First of all, she made her amateur debut. She was 15 years old. So right from the get-go, this girl's been fighting amateur. Or she's been fighting MMA. She was an amateur standout, undefeated as an amateur. Her father was a paratrooper in the Welsh Army. He's also the former Guinness Book of World Record holder for long-distance running with a weighted vest on. The guy's a fucking madman. Does not stop. She's very much the same. Her mom's an MMA fighter as well. The whole family's just geared towards how can Corey get as good as she can get. So she does get as good as she can get on the European regional scene, fighting Cage Warriors. So what do? They take her, and the whole family moves full-time Team Alpha Male. She's been grinding at Team Alpha Male unbelievably hard. Coming into that last fight against Vanessa Demopoulos, you saw all the improvements that she's made at Team Alpha Male. You see that this is a getting better. In fact, they talked to Uriah Faber right before her fight to be like, Uriah Faber, what do you think of her? And he's all about it, right? this is someone that's getting better. This is somebody that's making those improvements. I like it. As far as her going out there and outstriking Kay Hansen, she's a little more loopy than Hansen is, but she's got better volume. So I think Kay Hansen will land the better punches, like maybe the more eye-appealing punches. But the volume should go towards McKenna. What I'm banking on here is that McKenna's going to get some takedowns. And when she ends up on top of Hansen, Hansen's not submitting her off her back. So I think she should be able to just grind away ever so slowly at her. And then the last two things that I really want to take note of is the last fight against Vanessa Demopoulos. She goes to Team Alpha Male. Again, she does her full camp there. And they bring in Sarah McMahon. Sarah McMahon is the wrestling coach at Team Alpha Male now and takes this girl under her wing. Mama Bear McMahon takes little 20-year-old Corey McKenna and is like a mother figure to her. Her wrestling looked a lot better than the Vanessa Demopoulos fight, for sure. You look at anything from this camp, go to Instagram, whatever. It's like they're roommates. I mean, she's actually being mentored hard by Sarah McMahon.
I was looking. I was on her Instagram right now, seeing her in Lake Tahoe with Sarah McMahon. I throw out everything I just said, Cody.
And then her chief sparring partner for this fight has been Xiaonan Yan, who just fought last weekend, who we all know is at Team Alpha Male. So it's like, girl, you in good company. You got a badass girl to strike with as a chief sparring partner at Alpha Male. You got Sarah McMahon to wrestle with. She's improving. Bang, bang, bang. You know what? Why are we just talking about camps? Kay Hansen's making improvements. Nope. See, I don't think she's making those same improvements. I don't think at 21 and 21, she's a little bit better now, but McKenna's I just think that her rise is going to be a little bit better. Now, mind you, her pro loss as well, it's not the takedowns, it's the striking. The striking went cost her, but she scores some 6 takedowns against a 30-year-old opponent and eventually loses a close split decision. It's the improvements she's made since then. So listen, I would line this closer to 50-50. We have two 21-year-old girls. They're both good. They're both improving. They're both setting themselves up to be future stars in the division. But to say one of them is a minus 220 favorite over the other, like, nah, dog. I don't see that at all. So my dog picks here is going to be Corey McKenna.